Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone, wherever you are. Welcome to the third episode of Your People, Your Success podcast. The two first ones were amazing. Really enjoyed them. Really happy to see they've been amazingly received, enjoyed by the audience. So thank you all for your constant support that has started even before I've launched the channel. Greatly appreciated. Today we'll be talking about how to make an amazing impact on your team, a long-term impact when it comes to customer service training. This goes without saying, this topic is particularly important for one specific reason. Beyond Satisfaction, it's a talent agency providing recruitment and training for hospitality and customer service roles. I started my business 4 years ago with training and then implemented recruitment. And even when I do recruitment, one of my value added is that I can train the people that I recruit. So obviously training is something I enjoy a lot doing. It's a huge part of my business. It's even the starting point of my business adventure. So really happy to be covering that topic because if you want your team to deliver the best customer service, it definitely starts with your people and therefore it starts with training. So it's not for nothing that I decided to help businesses with their customer service by focusing on training. It's because I knew that's the number one thing which makes a difference when it comes to improving your team performance in customer service and therefore making the best impact on your customers. Before I start with this episode, just a few things I'd like to share with you. For my Spotify channel, if you enjoy the episode, please make sure you are following my page. Feel free to leave a 5-star rating. If you want, you can also turn the episode's notifications for my channel. If you are watching on my YouTube channel, you can also subscribe and feel free to give me a thumbs up and any comments if you want to share what you thought of it, your insights. You are more than welcome. So customer service training. Let me start first by saying training in general, even before customer service training, is not necessarily only about the insights that you share. It is a lot about how you make the audience feel, what environment you are creating. This is probably the most important. You can share the best insights ever. If you are not focusing on making them like you, respect you, but also see you as the person who will be teaching them something, but also making them feel acknowledged, respected, safe, they will be never ready to listen. And you can share the best insights, not going to make a difference. So it starts by focusing on your audience. It starts by making it about them and by all those little things which are making a difference. Funny enough, a little bit like customer service, right? So when your audience is coming inside a room, it's about welcoming them, shaking their hand, looking at them in the eyes, asking them how they're doing, what is their name, having small talks. When you start introducing the course itself, explain that you are there to help them. Explain that you are not there to point fingers, that you are not there to point out mistakes, but you are there to support them and make their life easier on a regular basis. When a team is sent in a course, one of the things I always say to myself is that they may have been sent by someone who are not fully happy with their performance, or if that's not the case, they may think as such. They may be like, oh, we're being sent in a customer service training course or program because we're not doing well enough. We're going to be blamed for the things we didn't do well, etc., etc. They're going to have that assumption. So you need to break that assumption. You're there to help them. You're there to make sure that you are improving their performance. You are there to make sure that they are enjoying their job when it comes to customer service. They are taking pleasure in doing it. They are comfortable in doing it. But also that they know how to face all those challenges because they do face challenges. So they are really ready when it comes to dealing with customers on a regular basis. Once they understand all this, that you are there to help them, this is how they will trust you. They will trust the environment they are in. And that's how they feel like they will not be targeted by something, be judged or pointed fingers at when they say something or ask a question, etc., etc. Actually, one of the things that I said at the start of every of my courses is that this course is not for your customer. This course is for you. And the other thing I say after that is that by focusing on yourself, your performance, by making you enjoying more what you're doing, by helping you improving on the things you like to improve, on the difficulties you face, This is how ultimately it will have an impact. This podcast channel is not call your people your success without reasons. It's because by focusing on your people, you'll make the best impact on your clients. And this is how you will have a successful customer service. The other thing I will say when it comes to creating that environment for your audience to be ready to learn is that you need to tell them there is no bad question. There's just question. Telling them that they are there to ask as much as they want and that they will not be judged. And that actually, on many instances, customer service about the obvious that everybody knows, but forgets. So this is why it's even more important to ask questions. Also, if they are uncomfortable about something that they don't want to say in front of everyone, they can come and ask you separately during the break or at the end of the course. This is very important. And to be honest, probably only 5 to 10% of the attendees are doing it. Yet, you are sending the correct message. Because the number one fear that attendees have when they come to a training room, it's to feel uncomfortable. And the second one, it's to be judged. So you don't want to give them that feeling. Because they will be focusing on this more, how do I look? Rather than, oh, am I going to learn? What am I going to learn? And I'm ready for it. The other key focus when it comes to customer service training is making the course, the content as bespoke as possible. I believe when it comes to leadership, sales training, or the type of training, it could be delivered the same way or with the same content to any other teams or any other companies. That could make such a great impact. I don't believe that's the case when it comes to customers. It needs to be bespoke because it's all about the individual, their own challenges, but also the type of customers they are dealing with because of the nature of their business, because of their job roles, but also their personality. Customer service is a lot related to personality and psychology, how you take things, how you receive things. How is your emotional perception impacted in a positive or negative way? How you are impacting the customer's emotional perception. So it's really important to understand that all those factors are proper to each individual and they will be different from one individual to another. So if you are not making your content bespoke, your training delivery bespoke by understanding the team's challenges, the team's opportunities of improvement, the team's strengths and weaknesses, but also the type of customers they have to deal with, the type of inquiries they have, that will be those type of courses where you leave the room. It was very nice. I really enjoyed it. But yet, the insights that you've been given, they're not going to be applicable insights. And this is what you want with customer service training. And with most trainings, you want those insights to make a change moving forward, applying them moving forward on a consistent basis. So you are improving, making a difference. And not only one day, but in the long. And this is why it's so important. And that's what I always say. I don't only want you to leave that room saying the course was amazing. I want you to leave that room saying the course was amazing and I can bring so much changes to my performance, to the way I deal with customers, to my work environment. And those changes will last. This is how customer service training needs to be. And sometimes it's not only about one course, it's about several ones. But that's going to be another topic. But making a course bespoke before delivering it is not the only way to make it bespoke. You can make the course bespoke while you are delivering it. And that's probably even more important to the engagement that you are creating with your audience. How many questions you're asking? How many activities? Are you doing specific brainstorming sessions where attendees can talk with another and exchange? One of the other things I always say when I train is that you're the experts in your job. I'm not here to tell you how to do it. You know how to. I'm just there to help you to perform better in your job when it comes to customer service. And I'm always amazed at how much insights they have themselves that they could share with their colleagues. And how much, therefore, they could learn from one another. And that's the number one criteria to make a course powerful, is that the audience is not only learning from you as the trainer, but they are also learning from one another. This is why you need to create that engagement so they are sharing insights to one another. When someone is stating a difficulty that he or she is facing, someone else in the team is giving her or his opinion in order to help that team member. And on many instances, their recommendation is better than your own as a trainer. And that's very good because this is what you want to create. And sometimes you will be the one as the trainer, give that advice, that solution, and you need to be that person. But why not let the other people? Because again, they're the experts in their own job. Or they may be very good in completing the solution and the recommendation you give to that team. So you definitely want to create that open conversation. You want to create that environment where people are free enough, comfortable enough, just raise their hand and just give recommendations, say what they think, challenge one another, challenge you as the trainer. You want to create that environment where they feel it's their safe space, where they can say whatever they want, whatever challenges they face, and they're not going to be judged, rather helped, not only by you, but by the people attending. This is what you want to create when it comes to training a team on customer service. You really want to create those brainstorming sessions. And this is why on many of my courses, I do implement a specific time where people, for one specific topic, they will prepare some points on what they struggle with, what they think they should do, and then letting other people share their opinion on that. And everybody is doing, not only one person. And sometimes it lasts for an hour or more, and it is implemented into the course because you really want to create that environment. So again, a powerful training course is not only about the insights that you share, but that environment that you're creating where naturally more insights are coming not only from you, but also from the audience. Now, one of the other things I say is that the number one goal that you want to achieve when it comes to customer service is consistency. You cannot only be good one day in delivering amazing customer service and not doing well the other. Or you cannot only have half the team performing amazingly well with customers and the other half doing very poor. You can't do that. You need to have consistency in terms of timeline from one day to another, but also within the team. And that's one of the hardest things. The problem is that once you start getting loyal to a brand, 8 times out of 10, you've been served amazingly well, and 2 times out of 10, you haven't. You're very likely to remember those 2 times. This is why consistency is key, because the world of customer service is a little bit of a cruel world, because human nature is like that. People, when they are customers, they're more likely to remember the bad than the good. Even if the bad is only 1 out of 10 and the good is 9 out of 10. That's how difficult it is. So how to reach that goal? How to become consistent? I'm actually being asked that question a lot from my clients, from my leads when they are inquiring to me or when they want to know how it works. What will you do to make sure that the things you're sharing, the changes you'll bring, the insights that you share that the team needs to apply, it remains consistent in the long term? And one of the things I say is very simple. You need to train the managers. It starts from them because they are the ones, once you're gone, who will ensure that consistency. Of course, you need to train them on the insights that you've been sharing to the team. You need to go even more in depth because they need to know more than the team to be able to check on them, monitor them, give them feedback, and continue that learning after you're gone. But you also want to train them on leadership, how to lead a customer service team successfully. And one of the courses I have, which is the most popular one, is exactly about that. Teaching the managers to become real leaders when it comes to customer service. And during that course, we talk a lot about how to monitor the team, how to give feedback, how to create an environment of performance management, how to enhance continuous improvement, how to make your team practice, how to address opportunities of improvement, how to help your team when they face those challenges, those difficult clients, complaints, etc., and how to make sure they improve from it rather than feeling blamed for it. And role play is something that I love doing. And most of the role plays I do when I train is team members dealing with customers. But when it comes to that specific course, those role plays ain't between the team members and the customer. It's between the managers and the team members. They have to practice themselves on how to become a real leader, how to have those courageous conversations with the team, with individual team members on things that they wouldn't like to hear, or they may take negatively, but that are important to be said so they can improve. Funny enough, with a very similar approach than when you need to have courageous conversation with customers. And this is what I love as well. When I train on those things, I always love to highlight the similarities between leadership and customer service. In fact, we had a lot of amazing discussions around that during the episode 2 with the amazing Clayton, who is a real leadership guru. And again, the reason why you have so many similarities between customer services and leadership is simply because it's people dealing with people. And people dealing with people is not only about what you say, it's a lot about how you say, how you inspire people, how you inspire your team in following you, in wanting to do those things because they want to do it rather than having to do it, and how you inspire your customers to love your brand, love your services, and become loyal. And this is a lot about the emotional. So when I train about emotional perception, I train about perception when it comes to customers, but also when it comes to your team. Because as a leader, your customers are your people. Because your people are the one dealing with the customers on most instances, not you. So your customers are your people. And this is something that you need to remember. Like I said during episode 1, I've been working for more than 7 years for Four Seasons, which is to me one of the best luxury brands when it comes to hotels. And like I always say, the reason behind that is not because they have the most stunning locations, the best food. The food is amazing, don't get me wrong. But to me, it's because they have the best customer service. And the reason why they have the best customer service is because they focus on their people. And that's one of the things said a lot. Your people are your customers. And Isadore Sharp, the founder of Four Seasons, is all about that. Now let's go back to customer service training. One of the other things that will really make a difference is not stopping at one session. Now, don't get me wrong. Training your team, even one session, is very powerful. But again, if you want to get that consistency going, if you want to create sessions where you give that time for people to express themselves, to ask questions, to brainstorm, to challenge one another, answer questions to one another, share their opinions, one session, most part of the time, doesn't suffice. And there's also another very simple principle. And this is not for me, this is the stats in general. When you come into a training room, you will listen to 50 to 60% of what is said. Because your attention is not always at the top. It's normal. You're sitting down for hours listening to something. And even if there's all that engagement and activities, it's difficult to stay focused. But the other thing is, within those 50 to 60% of things you've been listening, you will remember 20 to 30%. So actually the session 2 or 3 is a great opportunity to remind your team on what you've been sharing on the first or second session. So you're sure that this time you remember it. Actually, it's very powerful to repeat more than once very important things, because this is how you're going to increase the likelihood of them remembering it. And you're also sending the correct message. I'm not saying it once, I'm saying it twice, 3 times or 4 times, because this is important. And again, remember that when they come to your room for that first session, a lot of the things that you're talking about, they know it already. Because customer service is a lot about the obvious that everybody knows but constantly forgets. And probably half of the insights I share during that first session, I know that the team that I'm training, they know it already. But why then, if they know it, they're not applying it on a regular basis? It's because the number 1 threat to customer service is routine. The number 2 threat to customer service is being busy. The number 3 threat to customer service is overlooking it and taking it for granted. All those 3 threats, they are the reasons why they're not doing it on a regular basis. So now your role as a trainer is not only to remind them on those very important things, but it's also about covering the why it's important. It's not about doing it once that will make a difference. It's about doing it on a consistent basis that will make that long-term impact. Because sometimes that's why they're not doing it. Because they're like, oh, it doesn't really make a difference. But they are only making a difference if you are doing them consistently. And this is what you need to explain. Spend time explaining the why. Getting them to find the why by themselves. So when they leave the room, they want to do it. They're motivated to do it. And they remember it. They remember it during those busy moments when they have other priorities. And to be honest, you can't blame them. It's always easy to forget the obvious and the things you take for granted when you're very busy. So what about rephrasing those things that are very important by making them sound important and by explaining why they are, inspiring the people to do it rather than telling them you have to. But coming back to the sessions, this is why doing more than one session is important. So you can keep covering what makes a difference. You can get them to practice. You can check on them between two sessions to see how it went for them in their working environment, dealing with customers, in applying all those insights. They may say to you, oh, I had a challenge with this, or I didn't really manage to do that, etc., etc. And this is how you can make it even more bespoke by giving them additional recommendations so they can readjust. Again, remember that between two sessions, you're probably going to have days to weeks. And during those days, those weeks, they're going to be dealing with customers and they're going to try to apply the things that you've been telling them on the first session. And sometimes they may even say to you, this one didn't work too well because of this. And then you realize that actually they need to do it differently. Because again, remember, customer service is very bespoke. And I will even say to you one thing. Sometimes things I'm sharing on customer service, I have attendees saying to me, oh, this wouldn't work. And I agree with them because this is true. Because even if you try to make the course as bespoke as possible, it can only be made fully bespoke on the day. And this is where you need to say, you're actually right. You cannot do it this way. You need to do it like that. This is how you make it bespoke. And this is why it's really important to have more than one sessions. This is why it is very important to have more than one session. Because you will have live situations with customers between your sessions and between the things they've been learning, where you can then discuss those situations and give your solutions in an even more bespoke approach. Maybe the first session was more about covering the basics. Then the second one can be about practicing those basics and realize that they are not that easy as they sound when you have to practice. And the good thing is that most part of the time on the second session, you can do those role plays where you are giving live feedback. But you're also encouraging the other people from the audience to give feedback, not only on the bad, that I like to call opportunities of improvement, not just bad, but also on the good. Because they will help that person practicing, but they will also help themselves. Because you get them to think during a live situation. So those insights they are giving, most part of the time, they will apply it to their own situations. And this is what you want to create. So the session 2 and the session 3 can be a lot about practice. You can also have individual one-to-ones between the sessions where you really discuss in a private environment the challenges, the problems, the difficulties, but also the strength and the positive. You can also do personal assignments where they can work on specific things. You can give them specific materials for them to practice on their own between colleagues moving forward, or getting the managers to practice with them. And this is actually leading us to the last point of today's episode. The most important when it comes to customer service training course, it's not the session itself, but it's what you do from it. It's about them writing down their own takeaways on things they want to stop or start doing moving forward. But also about them reviewing the things they've learned, practicing on the things they've learned. As I've just said, getting the managers to take over from you on practicing with the team, checking on the team, doing role plays with the team, etc., etc. So they are becoming the trainers after you are gone or while you are not there between sessions. This is what you want. This is what will make a real difference. And this is what I always say through every sessions I deliver. The most important part of today's session is not right now, is when you leave the door. It is about what you do from it. This is what will make a difference. And this is why, again, training the managers is so important, because they will be the ones who can really ensure that consistency. That's it for me for today. What I will say to conclude is that successful customer service starts with your team, with the people, with giving them the tools to do their job successfully. not pointing fingers, or not be reactive, starting to train or find solutions when the problems have appeared. It's about being proactive on training your team right from the start on a continuous basis. So you are making an impact on their performance, also on their happiness, on how much they enjoy doing it on a regular basis. So in other words, don't train when things go bad. Train beforehand so they have all the tools in hand. So they are performing in the best manner before things go bad. And if things go bad, which will happen, is about continuously training your team. This is why customer service is not a one-off. It's something you do on a consistent basis, something you do regularly. Thank you again for listening. For the audio or video episodes on Spotify, make sure you are following my page. Feel free to leave a 5-star ranking if you enjoyed any of the episodes. Feel free also to turn on the episodes notification to see the next ones. For the video episodes on YouTube, feel free to subscribe to my channel, leave a thumbs up, and leave a comment. You can actually also leave a comment on my Spotify episodes. If you want to reach out and see what we are about at Beyond Satisfaction, feel free to visit my website or my LinkedIn profile. Both will be shared with the episode. If you'd like to know more about our training solutions, feel free to book your free discovery call. If you'd like to know how I help you finding the best talents, you can also book your free recruitment consultation. You can book on both links that I've just mentioned. Last thing I got to say is thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Looking forward to next month's episode. Will be a very interesting topic that I am very much looking forward to with an amazing guest that I'm keeping secret for now, but really looking forward to it. Thanks again. Speak very soon and take care.